what Georgia representatives are saying about President Donald Trump's impeachment vote. A shooting took place in Athens overnight. What a witness said took place. And is the University of Georgia's campus carry lock keeping our campus safe?
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Anna Glenn Grove. We begin tonight with breaking news. The U.S. Senate has acquitted President Donald Trump of the 2 articles of impeachment, charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Republican Senator Mitt Romney voted to convict President Trump of abuse of power, but acquitted him on obstruction of Congress. He was the only Republican to cross party lines. Many Georgia representatives in Washington had made their stances clear on Twitter prior to the vote. Democratic Representative Hank Johnson said, quote, "The senators who vote to acquit will be voting to establish a presidency more powerful than the other 2 branches of government. Destroying the co-equality of the 3 branches imperils the freedom that flow from our democracy. Hashtag impeachment trial," unquote. Republican Representative Doug Collins tweeted, quote, "Today's vote in the Senate will be the summation of what we've known and what we've said all along. President @Real Donald Trump did nothing wrong. He will be acquitted. Hashtag sham impeachment," unquote. One more time, breaking news, President Trump has been acquitted of both articles of impeachment. In other news of the day, a shooting that happened overnight in an Athens neighborhood injured 1 person, and 1 suspect has been charged and transported to the Clark County Jail. Grady Newsource reporter Hayden Chambliss went to the scene and is in the studio to talk about what she learned about the incident.
Anna Glenn. So this morning, I went to the scene of the overnight shooting in Highland Park neighborhood to learn more about what occurred. So here's what I found out. At 8:07 p.m. last night, officers responded to a 911 call about a shooting at 100 Highland Park Drive, according to the police report from the Athens Clark County Police Department. A 19-year-old man suffered a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to the leg. I spoke with a neighbor who was walking his dog, and he remembers exactly what happened last night.
It was somewhere at one of these end units, and there were like almost a dozen police cars. And they were, apparently from what we heard, they were searching for the suspect, the shooter, on foot through the woods. And they were here for about, I'd say about an hour.
The 17-year-old suspect was identified by both the victim and the witnesses to the crime. He was apprehended at his nearby residence shortly after. The firearm was located by the University of Georgia's Firearm and Explosives K-9 unit behind the suspect's house. Police say it was stolen out of Clark County. He was charged with aggravated assault, unlawful possession of firearms or weapons, and theft by receiving stolen property.
Thanks, Hayden. A bill passed by the Georgia Senate could make a rare method of cremation in funeral homes more accessible. Grady Newsource reporter Margaret Full tells us about the process.
Similar to burial or cremation, it's another option.
If passed, Senate Bill 296 will revise the current law that requires funeral homes to own a large furnace in order to partake in a process called alkaline hydrolysis, which uses water, alkaline chemicals, heat, and pressure to accelerate natural decomposition. Instead, funeral homes will only need to own the alkaline hydrolysis vessel. This is an alkaline hydrolysis vessel. It's a bit larger than average because it was designed to hold 4,500 pounds of tissue, but the process is still the same. The decomposition that occurs in alkaline hydrolysis is the same as that which occurs during a burial. However, it's sped up by the solution so that it takes less than 1 day. This process is legal in 20 states, but only 7 have operating providers, one of which is in Georgia. Mindy Miller, the funeral director and embalmer in Tallapoosa, worked closely with sponsoring Senator Bill Heath on the bill. She says that the process can bring more comfort to family members as opposed to fire cremation, but that it's also a more eco-friendly solution.
With the alkaline hydrolysis process, there are no emissions at all, and what's coming out that goes into the sewage system it's completely sterile. It's non-toxic, and in most cases it can even be beneficial to the wastewater treatment plants because it's helping clean those pipes along the way.
Jason Womack, the funeral director at Lord & Stevens Funeral Homes in Athens, says that the equipment they have now services the needs of the families they work with. But in the future, alkaline hydrolysis may be something they consider.
We haven't grown to a point where we need to add additional equipment, but if we did reach that point, then that would be a consideration. Because we're already a licensed crematory, then it would be a simple process to request a permit for alkaline hydrolysis.
Senate Bill 296 had its first reading in the House today and will be assigned to a standing committee later tonight. Margaret Folk.
Athens is waving farewell to Earth Fair. Hear how the community is reacting after the break.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in, help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
People are still talking about the news that Athens staple Earth Fair is closing its doors. Grady Newsource reporter Cassidy A. Thomas joins us now live from Earth Fair in 5 Points, Athens. Cassidy, what are people saying?
That's right, Anna Glenn. The grocery store right behind me, which is an Earth Fair, is based out of Asheville, North Carolina, which recently just went bankrupt just last night. Chapter 11 bankruptcy, just to be exact. Monday, they told their clients, their employees, and the rest of the nations that they would be closing all 50 of their storefronts nationwide. This location we're at right now in 5 Points is one of the most profitable locations of them all and has been operating since 1990. I've spent the day here talking to several customers, young, old, and everything in between, and here's what they had to say.
Sad to see them go. I enjoyed shopping here. The managers and the employees always very helpful.
Me being a plant-based vegan for the past 5 years now, I definitely have relied heavily on a lot of Earth Fair's offerings for a lot of the home-cooked meals that I do rely on. It also being located so conveniently to Millage, I know that it'll affect a lot of the other students here on campus that do live in the area.
I live about a block from here, and I bought the house because I wanted to be able to walk to the grocery store and walk to the drugstores. I'm devastated, and I wish that somebody could get together some kind of crowdsourcing thing. I would contribute. I would become a stockholder.
According to their press release and the signs on the opposite side of the building, all of their stores will be having 30 to 50% off everything. Back to you, Anna Glenn.
Thank you so much, Cassidy. Now, many parents may not realize the importance of the Georgia Parent Survey, but the Clark County School District says these surveys can have a large impact on their schools. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Schmidt explains.
James Barlament, the Director of Assessment for Clark County, says that this survey is an important way that schools can improve areas they may be lacking in. The survey covers questions about curriculum, school safety, physical environment, and parents' perceptions of the school.
We are, taking on a great deal of information from parents about, their perception of our schools, and that actually feeds what the state rates our schools as far as climate goes.
The climate rating measures students, parents, and staff's experiences of school life and gives a school rating based on a scale of 1 to 5 stars.
Now internally, we use the data to try to improve our practices, to try to improve our connection with parents and how they interact with our schools.
Keena Worthy, the principal of Timothy Road Elementary School, claims the school went from a 3-star rating to a 5-star rating in 1 year by paying attention to the results.
So we identified discipline as an area that we needed to focus on, and by hitting those things and becoming way more proactive than we had been, we were able to really skyrocket our ratings.
Lori Wilburn says the surveys are a good way to get a parent's opinion, but she feels that her child's school benefits more from her being involved.
I've actually got to meet a lot of the other parents of kids, so I think it makes me more, even more than just a part of my kid's school and informed about his school. I think we've been able to build our community.
The survey is available now, and Clark County encourages parents to take it before the deadline on May 31st.
Coming up next, we'll break down the trade that sent Clint Capella from the Houston Rockets to the Atlanta Hawks, and we'll hear what Kirby Smart had to say about National Signing Day.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
And now, sports.
I'm Kevin Keneally with your Grady Sports. Just after midnight last night, news broke that the Atlanta Hawks were part of a 4-team trade with the Houston Rockets, Denver Nuggets, and Minnesota Timberwolves. The Hawks traded away Evan Turner and one of their first-round picks they'd previously acquired from the Brooklyn Nets to the Timberwolves. In return, the Hawks received Clint Capella and Nene from the Rockets. As a result of this trade, the Hawks are cutting Chandler Parsons in his $25 million contract in order to make roster space for Capella and Nene. The addition of Capella fills a glaring hole in the Hawks roster. He has established himself as one of the best young centers in the NBA, averaging just under 14 points and 14 rebounds a game, in addition to his elite defense down low. However, Capella is dealing with a heel injury, and it's unknown how long this injury will sideline him before making his Hawks debut. And now to college football and National Signing Day. Earlier today, I was able to sit down with Kirby Smart and listen in on his press conference, where he gave us his thoughts on what fans should expect from the 2 highly touted offensive linemen Georgia was able to sign today.
So what are you doing to develop the ones you're signing now is more my concern. It'd be foolish for me to sit here and think that 2 of these tackles we just signed are going to walk in here and play. You guys will print that, but I'm also realist that that's probably not going to happen. Based on the history of the SEC, you do the study, how many freshman offensive tackles I played. That's tough to find. You know what I mean? It's hard to do. Now, if they're the athletic and they're the best guys, or we have injuries, those guys will provide us great depth. And I certainly think a lot of these guys we just signed are talented enough to come in and help us. But they're not mid-year guys, and they'll have to come in and compete for it.
One of the key signees today was five-star offensive tackle Broderick Jones out of Lithonia. According to 247 Sports, Jones is the highest-rated offensive tackle to commit to UGA in the 247 era. Thanks to all the new additions to UGA's 2020 recruiting class, the Bulldogs have locked up the #1 recruiting class in the nation for the second time over the last 3 years. For Grady Sports, I'm Kevin Keneally.
The sunny, beautiful weather from earlier this week is here no more. Rain is on the way, and Northeast Georgia should expect a lot of it. That and more after this.
Hello. Hi. I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again? Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away. Not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again? I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta. A different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And now, the weather.
It's going to be a rainy next 24 hours in Northeast Georgia. Hi everyone, I'm Trevor Terry, and this is your Grady Newsource weather. Remember earlier this week when we thought spring had come early with temperatures reaching 73 degrees on Monday and beautiful clear skies? Well, not so fast. Rain is on the way, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. We'll talk today about how long you should expect that rain to last. And then I'll give you the rest of this week's forecast. And then later, in continuation with Georgia's Severe Weather Preparedness Week, I'll give you and your family some tips for staying safe in a situation of a tornado emergency. So let's start with the radar, and it's important to note that these storms will continue to grow as the night goes on, but they will move into Northeast Georgia with the winds pushing them that way. Northeast Georgia is under a flash flood warning with 3 to 4 inches of rain expected over the next 24 to 36 hours. Now let's look at your evening planner. If you're planning on going anywhere tonight, make sure to grab your umbrella and a rain jacket because it is going to rain. At 6 p.m., there is just a 50% chance of rain, but as you can see, that is going to increase as the night goes on. At midnight tonight, there is a 90% chance of rain, and around that time, you could start to see some thunderstorms. So if you're going somewhere tonight, make sure you are safe and dry. Here are some temperatures in the surrounding areas, and as you can see in Athens, it is currently 68 in Atlanta, a very warm 70 in Augusta, and in Greenville, Blairsville, and Chattanooga, temperatures are in the 60s. For the overnight forecast, the low tonight is 60 degrees, and as we talked about, the chance of rain is here to stay. There is a 100% chance of rain tonight, and it will continue to rain as the night goes on. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, the high temperature is 67 degrees, and once again, a 100% chance of rain. It's going to rain virtually all day tomorrow. Now, winds are 5 to 15 miles per hour with gusts of winds potentially reaching 25 miles per hour at some points throughout the day. so it is important to note that it could be a windy day tomorrow. UGA softball was expected to kick off their season tomorrow against North Alabama, but that game has been canceled. But don't worry, you don't have to wait too long to see the Bulldogs in action. The 5-day forecast will tell you that this weekend, we should have some pretty good weather. We talked about Wednesday and Thursday with the temperatures being in the 60s, but having a lot of rain. But when we look ahead to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the temperatures are starting to drop as that rain goes away. On Friday, we should have a high of 49 and a low of 35. Saturday, a high of 53 and a low of 36. And Sunday, a high of 57 and a low of 38. So, as you're preparing for softball this weekend and whatever else you plan on doing, you can expect to have a beautiful forecast, with the exception to Wednesday and Thursday's rainy weather. In continuation with Georgia's Severe Weather Preparedness Week, I spoke with Steve Harris at the UGA Emergency Preparedness Center about how you and your family can stay safe in a tornado emergency.
Most young people, college-age students, have limited life experiences with emergencies. What we ask them to do is to trust the source because time is of the essence in these types of situations to get to a safe sheltering area, particularly if you're outside. You want to try to get somewhere safe pretty quickly indoors. So a tornado watch is when conditions are favorable that a tornado may occur in a large area. And then a tornado warning, of course, is when a tornado has been sighted on radar or actually sighted by a storm spotter on the ground. Tornado warnings generally last about 30 minutes in most cases. There could be a couple, so usually you want to wait for that all clear. But the first thing in a tornado warning, if it's received via UJ alert or some other method, is to make sure you try to go to the lowest level of the building, preferably an interior room without windows and things like that. During a tornado warning for Clark County, and those outdoor sirens will sound for 3 minutes. And in fact, we'll be having our severe weather sheltering drill locally for Athens, Clark County and UGA on Friday at 9 a.m.
So here at the UGA Office of Emergency Preparedness, Mr. Steve Harris, the director, walked me through how UGA students can find information on signs to help them be safe during a tornado emergency.
In many of our buildings, we have emergency posters which give brief information on what to do in a variety of emergency situations. So in this circumstance, severe weather, it tells you quickly what to do as well as where to shelter. So this would say first floor restrooms. Over here to the restrooms, we also have signage that would indicate where you would go as the best available sheltering location.
Those are some tips to staying safe in a tornado emergency. That's all for your weather. I'm Trevor Terry. Stay dry, everyone.
A new program in Watkinsville for special needs children is bringing a smile to a lot of families. More on this after the break.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Georgia citizens could soon be voting on whether to give up daylight savings time. House Bill 709 proposes that the state hold a non-binding referendum to determine how to move forward with the issue. Voters will pick between 3 options from the bill on a ballot question. They are as follows. The state should continue to observe the current system of switching between standard time and daylight savings time twice a year. 2, the state should observe standard time year-round. And 3, the state should observe daylight savings time year-round if authorized by Congress. A referendum such as this has only been used once, the last time in 2003. That year, citizens voted on a new design for the Georgia state flag. Every Wednesday, Extra Special People, or ESP, gives children under the age of 4 and their parents the opportunity to come together with other children with the same disabilities. Grady Newsource reporter Lainey Tagliaferri shows us how this is changing their lives.
Just 41 in Watkinsville, Georgia, you'll find people with big hearts giving back to the community, changing the lives of extra special people.
We had this one little boy that wasn't walking, 4 months ago, and now he's like running around the building.
Last year, ESP created a new program, ES Play. This gives children under the age of 4 with disabilities and their parents a place to meet to have fun, giving them a support system outside of their immediate family.
We want to connect families from the moment they find out they're going to have a child with special needs, they have a community that they are a part of so that they feel less isolated, less alone, less on this island of I don't know what I'm doing.
This unique program is not only valued amongst the families that it serves, but changes the atmosphere of the entire office.
I think everyone's favorite day is kind of Wednesday around here. All our volunteers will just go and like parade the babies through the office and kind of let everyone have a smile on their face.
The bonds between the families involved in ES Play have grown strong, spilling into their lives outside of the ESP walls.
I've seen a lot of friendships grow through the program from parents. They'll talk about doctors and therapy visits and things they're struggling with.
ESP provides programs year-round for people with intellectual disabilities, offering summer camps, fun classes during the school year, as well as family support programs.
I think that just the connection, I think that the kids are able to engage with kids who are like them.
The parents were able to verify, like, hey, we're not alone, we have support.
Lainey Tagliaferri, Grady Newsource.
Once again, to remind you of our breaking news, the United States Senate has acquitted President Donald Trump of the 2 articles of impeachment. That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching Grady Newsource, and good night.
Student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where the cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Right. So welcome everybody to tonight's post-show critique for our third live show. First of all, huge compliments to Cassidy. You ran that live shot like a pro. So first of all, I just want to say that I am thrilled that this class is doing such ambitious shows. Most of the time, third show of the semester does not have a live shot with an animated double box, with breaking news, and everything goes off without a hitch. Because I think today the show that went out was beautiful. And the last minute changes that everybody made, like getting a second SOT in there and then doing additional transitions to make sure it looks all right and there's no jump cuts. I think everybody worked well together for preparing for the live show after 3:30. The one thing I would suggest is that we improve timing a little bit. Mostly stuff like basically the start time, because I feel like we're wrapping stuff up pretty quickly. It's just like when we start, if we could start a little bit earlier, that would give everyone a little bit more time to prepare. Grady Daily, the start time's supposed to be, start time's recorded 11, so just everyone knows that's the start time. I'd also just communicate schedule changes. Like if someone needs to be out of the room to go get an interview, just run in, let us know. You guys let us know today, but just make sure that everybody is on the same page. As far as the show today, I was senior production manager and director, so thank you. So it was a bit of a crazy show. I did not practice at all. Was running around the entire time, making sure everything was in the right place. So just, I got you guys, today I made you guys some new charts. They're actually more like dichotomous key lists where you just go through, answer the question, yes or no, and then if it's yes, it'll point you to the right place to put your stuff. And if it's no, it'll point you to another question to answer. So basically that's just another way for you guys to check and see where you're supposed to put VOs, SOTs, packages, stuff like that. So hopefully that'll make life a little bit easier on you, because instead of having to get up and come ask me, you just have to sit, like look to your right and your answer. So hopefully that'll make life a little bit easier on you guys. Overall, I think it was a really great show. Again, just work on timing, just in the pre-show recording. But honestly, even with pre-show recording, most of the time, classes are way behind this. They're way behind. They're like starting to record a half hour after we're supposed to, 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour. So you guys are killing it. And I have full confidence that you guys can keep it up. That's everything that I have to say. It was a great show. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you. You were doing double duty. At the last moment, we had all these changes with the rundown. I even asked you, you know, we have a breaking news stinger, 2 minutes before air? And you said, I'll find it. And you found it. And where do I play it? It wasn't even in the rundown. And it was right on time where we expected it. And I can't tell you how impressed I am with you, because you know, you were by yourself doing two things, dealing with so many changes, alive, 2 packages not making it, breaking news, and you pulled it off. And you know, I really, really thank you, and we're very grateful to have you. Yes. And for you to be so understanding, because you're not supposed to expect so many changes like what we served you today.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
And
news happens.
I could not believe you pulled off the breaking news stinger as well, that you even added that. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that this show couldn't have been pulled off if everybody hadn't given more than 100%. Everybody gave more than 100%, each and every one of you. And that is why, you know, today I hope you understood what a newsroom is. It truly is teamwork, because we wouldn't have pulled off the show with 2 packages failing to make air, breaking news, and our first ever live shot without each and every one of you giving us more than 100%.
Thank you, and I'm sure everyone over there appreciates it. And I just want to say, I said it a couple of times
Yes.
during the show when we were in the pre-recorded blocks, but just everyone on that side of the wall, all of the managers and volunteers, you all are fantastic. You killed it today. You are all amazing, and thank you so much for being here and contributing as much as you do. Okay, so that's
Yes, we
everything that I
love
have to
you,
say.
and we're very grateful.
Alrighty, so I am done. I'm going to go
Thank
ahead
you,
and
Sarah.
leave
Thanks
Emma with
to you and your entire team. We're very, very grateful and very lucky to have you. So, I don't think anybody or anything can ever scare you from what happened today, but I'll let you speak.
I'll keep it short and simple today. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Cassidy, for going live. Thank you. You said, and behind me, and when it did the pan up, I said, there she goes. There she goes.
And the, yep, and the camera.
Yes. I'm so happy for you. Congrats. She's the first live shot out
First
of all
live
the
shot.
classes, right?
Yes, yes.
So thank you.
You're
And
the star.
everyone,
And you were cool. You were just like, you were enjoying yourself. You told us a good story. You had these interesting characters.
yes, your thoughts were really good.
It was just very interesting. There's nothing like a live, It's like, yeah.
It's relaxed.
And
Trevor, so story time. I know everyone was kind of running around and editing. Kevin was up here laughing at me. So what happened was Professor V came over here and said, I have bad news. Another package has been cut. So that's 2 packages that have been cut out of the show.
half an hour before the show?
Half an hour
Yes,
before.
yes.
Not even half an hour
Yes.
before. Trevor says, well, I got this if you need it. Trevor edited that thing together.
Was very interesting.
He walked
and
us through tornadoes.
Timely.
Exactly.
And important for people.
And he dropped it in the folder, and that saved us 35 more seconds. So thank you. Thank you. Margaret, from funeral homes to broadcast. Can I ask her a question about how she even found that? How did you find that story, Margaret?
I was just browsing the internet yesterday. Came across this article. And the article, they were titling them very morbidly. It was like bodies will now be dissolved in chemicals and whatever, and I was like, okay, that's a lot. So I went and read it and found the bill and read that, and then just started calling people, and they were telling me about all of this stuff, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. I thought it was really cool. It is very morbid, but I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. So I messaged Professor V. I was like, okay, is this too morbid for 5 o'clock news? And she said it was fine, just to make sure I knew kind of what I was talking about.
And think about saying dissolving
Right.
bodies, in
Because
chemicals.
I was kind of summarizing what I was thinking of doing
Yeah.
to Professor V to keep it short and sweet, and my wording there would not have made it on the 5 o'clock news. So I did have to rethink that a little bit. But it was really interesting. I enjoyed everyone I talked to. I got lucky because everyone I called would answer or call me back. So
Nice stand-up. It was so interesting because I personally had never seen, all the equipment and stuff like that. And I learned a lot about, we're all headed that way. Me sooner than you guys. But it was very interesting. And besides that, there was something very important you did. You ran this by me, but you also communicated well with your producer. And this morning we started with some tension because the producer was out of the loop in many cases, and we ended up as a team in which everybody
couldn't do it without you guys.
and everybody helped, did more than 100%. And so I was worried this morning when we had all this tension, and rightfully so, the producer has to be kept in the loop. And she wasn't kept not because somebody wanted to keep her out of the loop. It's just people still, we're learning. This is our third show. People were not aware that they need to do this, because when we trained you, you know, Professor Cantrell and I had this big fire hose, and we were like, you know, you should know all this information and you should do this. And you guys absorbed as much as possible. Some of you absorbed some facts, others absorbed other facts. And so some of you didn't think about how important it is that the producer needs to know all the changes, all the pitches. And so now you guys know. But we started the morning in a, you know, I was a little bit worried, how am I going to kind of get this team working together and get everybody being friends and helping each other out. I didn't need, I mean, a few hours later, you guys were the best of friends, and we could not have pulled this off if you guys didn't put your heart into it and help in every possible way. I know the popcorn helped in the last moment. You know, yes, she was like, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, Professor V. I have it down. No, don't worry. And she's like, pop in that popcorn. And I said, I didn't know what to expect. And
it was a beautiful show.
It was. The popcorn probably also helped. But each and every one is so, I'm not worried anymore. This morning and last night, I was really worried. And I was like, what should I say? How should I approach this? But honestly, I thought about it, and I knew this was just a moment of learning. It was a teachable moment, and we'll have more of these. There will be more tensions. There will be certain things that we can't even anticipate will happen because we're learning. And if you guys knew everything, I wouldn't have a job, right? You would know everything, and you wouldn't have these difficult moments. We will have other difficult moments, but now I know I don't need to be worried. We will do our best, and we will persevere, and we will, you know, we will be fine because of what happened, the way this day started and the way it ended. So we will work this out, and you guys will be an awesome team. And I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Of course, there are things that we could do better, you know, but, you know, we had an anchor who was right on top of the breaking news, and she came up with this, oh, let me update things at the end.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm like,
great.
okay, we have nothing written, but I knew she was going to get it right, and she did.
It was a big news day, breaking
Yes.
news.
And wonderful calls, because I decided that I'm just going to be mom, and I'm going to let her do her things. She started with impeachment. Okay, that's going to be my B-block story, and I'm okay. And then she started working with it, thinking about it, and said, oh, so impeachment is going to be at 4 o'clock? Right, I said, right before our show. Well, what do you think? Should we bring, I said, I don't know. And she was like, I'm starting my show with that thing, you know, and sure enough, that was a great call. To do all the things you rejiggled, and I can't believe this is your second show, and the way, the logic between the stories and how you're thinking, you started thinking like a producer for the first time in your life, second time. And those were great calls. You made amazing calls from the impeachment, and you had, you know, when the anchor asked, our cool as a cucumber anchor said, I want to update, you said, go for it, even though we don't have a, and you gave her direction, yes, just keep it simple, just tell us what happened, that he was acquitted. And you got it, and you were just, I mean, you should have looked at you, so you were so confident at the end. The beginning, I knew you were, yes, but you still held your own. And when she told you, slow down because I need time, you slowed down, you did everything. But I will shut up again and just let Emma speak now.
Yeah, so I also just kind of want to emphasize what Ashley and Professor V said, that this was a really tough day to get through. And it was just like really amazing to see how much our camaraderie came out of this newsroom today. I don't think I had seen it as much before today. Like today was kind of the epitome of that. And so there were a couple moments that I wanted to shout out. One, working on Kevin's social media post from the press conference that he went to with Kirby Smart. First of all, thank you for doing that work.
Excellent work, yeah.
He has quite a funny story about how he got to the press conference, if we have time for that.
Because you didn't have a car, right? What did you do?
What happened?
Well, I missed the first 3 buses that came by because they were all full. And then after the first bus went by, it started raining. And so I'm just out there with all this equipment and it's raining. And then I finally get there and I'm worried that I'm going to be late because I get dropped off like right over there by the Georgia Hotel. Or no, by Stegman, I mean. And I walk over there and I'm walking in there like just soaking wet. And set everything up, and then they're having issues with the sound box, and they have to replace the sound box, and they're trying to tell me how, like, what's going to happen, like, if I can't, or if the sound box is not going to work. They were saying that nobody can have their phones up front either, and so they were pretty much, one person clicked a lav mic to Kirby's mic that they were having up front there, and he was going to send it to everyone if the audio was not working properly. Wow. And so, luckily, though, they ran over to the basketball court, or to Stegman and grabbed the basketball box and brought that back, and it seemed to work even though we thought it had died on us halfway through the interview. That's what they were saying at the end. They said that we think we lost audio like halfway through, and luckily though, that wasn't the case. So
because
that
you brought, this was an amazing soundbite. It was very interesting, and Kirby Smart was so animated also. So.
Yeah, no, he was happy there because I think like as soon as the press conference started, like 5 minutes prior, he got word that Broderick Jones was staying with Georgia. So he was in a good mood. And then he started it by throwing some shade at like one of the other recruits, like Zach Evans, and that kind of like a little funny. He was just saying how it's not worth chasing people that aren't really worth or that don't really care about your program and don't truly want to buy into what you're trying to make this program be. And Zach Evans was the guy that was with Georgia, wasn't, and was, and wasn't, and now he didn't even sign today. Wow. And so, yeah.
So he was in a good mood.
Yes, he was in a very good mood.
And your performance, by the way, very good. Very comfortable and animated. You were using your hands, you were, and you brought us an interesting, it's so much more interesting when you have, besides graphics, you have a soundbite also. Breaks up things, and it was a very nice.
Yeah, I like having the soundbite in there for sure.
Yeah.
I wish if I had maybe not missed those buses or gotten back here quicker, I could have had time to do the graphics. So I felt bad for that. Like not having time to do the graphics, and so I tried to make it quick for them in there, so I did it in like 2 takes to get out of there kind of quickly, but yeah, I felt kind of bad for that.
It was very good, and Trevor, you were just a natural also. I mean, the way you were like enjoying yourself and telling people, you know, it's going to rain here, but you know, it was very good. And that interview, I'm glad we had more time because this guy had very interesting information. You had the graphic, you had the B-roll covering what he was saying for your cutaways and everything. And it's important information, so came together very well as well. And you know, Anna Glenn, excellent work. The readers you wrote were not easy. The way you prepared, I think she deserves a round of applause. The way you prepared and strategized the impeachment thing, you had it written beforehand, and you had it written, localized it, and you had it written in a way where you could quickly just change the top of the story and still have, you know, prior to the vote, you thought about it. Prior to the vote, this is what they said, both sides of the story, Republican, Democrat. That was impressive, the thinking. And then when you came up with, let me ad-lib at the end and recap the top story, the breaking news story. Yes, excellent work. Yeah. And so what we were able to post.
So that's what I was going to talk about.
Sorry.
No, totally fine. Oh my gosh. This post-show critique is so chill.
How rude I am to interrupt.
But it was really fun kind of building the sports post with Kevin. And I think that helped as well because when Professor V and I were talking about how exactly to explain what National Signing Day is or like how to talk about that in a post, like both of us don't know as much sports as, for instance, Kevin, that you do. And so we went over to Dr. Bright's office and we were like, Dr. Bright, like what all should we include in this caption? And she was like, how about we hashtag National Signing Day? So if anyone wants to find out more about what exactly that is or see other posts from it, all they have to do is click on the hashtag. And so it's kind of fun kind of kind of diving more into the science behind social media posting. And then we also ended up tagging the football teams, which also hopefully will kind of bump up our viewership and engagement. And Kevin and I were over here making sure we like had the exact handles right. So that was just really fun. And then another moment that I wanted to point out was with Anna, Glenn, and Kevin when we were kind of all sitting up here in the producer's desk area watching the live impeachment vote happening. That was also just really, really cool because Anna Glenn had her reader ready and we were looking over that for her while we were also watching all these votes being counted in the screens behind us. And that was just really awesome seeing that teamwork play out today. Everyone did phenomenally. I also want to shout out Trevor as well because your content was just so good today, both on air but also something that we'll post later tonight from his tornado package. You think, like your mind is just so dynamic, which I really appreciate because not only do you think what will be broadcast, but you also think how you can post it on social platforms, which is awesome. So you guys did so well today. And Ashley, the fact that you were able to pull this show off is commendable as well, because this was a crazy day to get through, and you did it.
Thank you. Thank you for your help too.
Hayden, you are also our star, even though your package didn't make it. But what you did for us on your way back from shooting another story, and again, it was our amazing producer who thought, you know, we don't have our we don't have Will today. And so there was the shooting was Will's beat. He should have gotten the notice from the police department, but he wasn't here. So I got that from Tuesday, Thursday people that they had received that notice and asked us, you know, if we knew about the shooting. And that's when we got that information. And Ashley, again, she's like, what should I do? And I said, well, you've got several options you should do, or you could do just a reader if you think it's not that pertinent, or you could send a reporter. Just tell one reporter, take them off the story they're working if the story is not breaking news. And she's like, what do you think? I said, I'm going to torture you. I'm not going to. And again, great call. This was another great call she made. What she did was she decided this was important, and she's like, which reporter? Okay. Savannah's there, but she doesn't have a car. Which one? And she called you, and you said,
I'm on the way.
I'm on the way. And that was amazing. Another, and you came and you gave us this amazing soundbite from this person who actually lives there. That's not easy.
Pulled up in my car next to
Yeah.
me, like, hey, like, do you know what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. And you wrote it. That wasn't easy. Tell us the adventure for you, so we can all learn from how you are able to switch from one thing to another.
So I was in Watkinsville, and I encountered a problem there with my original story because the police officer that I was supposed to talk to canceled and didn't tell me.
So you didn't have both sides of the story.
Right, I didn't have both sides of the story.
Yes,
So
yes.
I called her asking for her help, and she said, actually, can you go to this shooting while I was getting B-roll? And so I went, did my stand-up, got in the car, went to the site of the shooting, which was way back, like, in kind of like the outskirts of Athens. And so I got there, like, there was no one on the street. I kind of felt weird, like, videoing people's houses and, like, trying to figure out what happened because there was no evidence of it. I kind of expected there to be, like, oh, like, maybe there'll be, like, crime tape or, like, something will be there. And then on my way down the road, because it was, like, a dead end, I passed, like, these two people walking dogs, and I was like, I should ask them. And then I went down there, and I was like, okay, there wasn't really anything there. I should just ask them. So I, like, pulled up, rolled down my window super creepily and was like, hey, like, do you know what happened last night? And he was like, kind of gave me a brief overview. I was like, actually, can I video you doing this? And I, like, literally hopped out of my car with, like, the selfie stick and videoed him talking while his dog was, like, licking my leg. And so he actually had a really good soundbite. And I didn't mic him up, so I was worried about that, but the sound was actually really clear. So that was lucky. But
another great call.
Happened.
Everybody made great calls, you know. But you were just impressive. All these calls from the impeachment to deciding that this was an important story. And
you did great in the studio, by the way. Thanks,
And then she tried to help you with the other side of the story, in addition to producing the show, which wasn't going very well.
And then I was waiting an hour
Yeah.
for another interview. And so
Yeah.
I was still trying. I figured out I shouldn't try to bite off more than I can chew. I think if I learned anything today, it's like I shouldn't be beating myself up over the fact that my package didn't air, because the fact
No.
that I did all that work
Don't
and it didn't
make
kind of hurts. But I
perfect
tried
be
to
an
do too
enemy,
much.
of
So
the okay, yes. And Dara, you're gonna be a star. We're gonna get you on air. It's just a stroke of bad luck that you weren't able to complete. And it was like, again, you should have gone with your story that you were working on and just focused today on Black History Month, getting that second piece. But you decided to challenge yourself and do something entirely different, which was very difficult to pull off in the same day. All of you are just fearless, and I admire you for it. And sometimes it works out, being fearless, and sometimes it doesn't. You almost ended up with no story as well because you weren't able to get. So sometimes stories don't work out, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I was gonna
okay.
say. You don't feel bad about anything
No,
not.
because you were fearless and you challenged yourself, and you said, I'm going to leave this story that I worked so hard on. I'm almost there because my producer says, let's try this because it's more newsworthy. And you tried. You really did.
We're learning.
And we are the only, I would tell you, I think that you should continue working on Black History Month and bring us some stories from also achievements, show us what people have done, what they've created. Let us highlight the good things that people have done and highlight a problem, but just keep working on, if you want to do that, just keep working on that story and bring us amazing stories. You can find them here, or bring us an issue like you were working on that issue, complete that issue and complete the issue of why people feel that way and what is the response to it, and is there a response to it. Just keep working that story. That was a great idea, and I think you should keep working that story because it's in your heart. And if you find somebody that's done an amazing thing, maybe a professor here an African American professor who has an invention to his name, or just an amazing achievement to inspire an issue, but also let us, bring us those stories of people who've done incredible things. That's what we're honoring this month as well. And we're also bringing attention to challenges and issues. So if you want to continue working on that story, I don't think you should give up on it. I think you should continue working on that story and bring us some interesting things that can really illustrate what this month means, and both things that aren't right and things that are amazing and inspire us. I think that's what this month is about, both things. So if you want, keep working on this because you're almost there. And give us something on Monday, give us something on Wednesday that you've started working on.
And that doesn't mean the work that you have done isn't great.
It is great.
Because it is.
And it's difficult. What you tried to do is very difficult. You challenged yourself on the most sensitive, painful issues of our country. And those are the most difficult ones to do the right way, in a balanced way, because they're so political, they divide us so much, and they're not easy. It takes more time, and you've got that time. What you've done, take stock of what you've done so far, and just keep working on it. And if you want, just come talk to me again. If I wasn't clear enough what you needed, the little missing piece. I think you know the missing piece, and you just have to get it, and you're almost there. You're almost there, but we'll get you there. And if you want to continue working on that story, I think you should, because you've done a lot of work, and it's too important not to cover the right way this month.
And also, before we go, shout out to Lainey's story, because that story was just so cute.
Yes,
Especially with
the way we
yes,
attended also.
It was so good, so cute.
It was a great way to end our show. You
Yes.
gave us an inspiring way to end our show as well.
And we're ending this show with it too.
All right, so that is our post-show critique for tonight. Everybody have a good night.